Howdy folks, bluesboyjag here with yet another 3-string cigar box guitar lesson, except it's not. I'm walking by the Arkansas River today. I try to get a walk in every couple of days somewhere around town here in Arkansas. So I thought I would do a slightly different video today. And I'm going to talk about different cigar box guitar types and tunings. I sold a baritone cigar box guitar a couple of hours ago, and the customer asked me some questions about the baritone tuning and so forth. I've made a ton of the baritone guitars. For those of you who aren't familiar with a baritone guitar, it's between a regular guitar tuning and a bass. It's lower than a guitar tuning, but not quite as low as a bass. And this allows you to play in different keys, and it has kind of a unique sound compared to a bass and compared to a guitar. It's a 6-string for your regular baritone type guitar. However, the one that I'm working on will be a 2-string, and the tuning more than likely will be low and low E string and an A string, but I'll have to experiment a little bit. That's pretty interesting. I don't know how to switch my camera, but there was an airplane flying over. So I've got a baritone guitar. It's a Squire. It's shaped like a Telecaster. It's a fantastic guitar. I play a lot of blues on it, and it allows me to play in different keys from a regular guitar tuning, which is pretty fun because depending on the song, I may or may not be able to sing the song in the exact key that the song was recorded in. So oftentimes I'll use a baritone guitar. I play a couple of Neil Young songs with a baritone guitar just to give it kind of a different flavor when I play gigs. So baritones are a lot of fun. Aside from that, my customer is buying a regular 4-string cigar box guitar, which I normally tune to open G because it's the most versatile tuning. And a lot of people ask me, why are all your guitars tuned to open G? Well, first, not all of them are tuned to open G, but a lot of them are. And the reason is open G allows you to play obviously in the key of G, and if you capo it, you can play in the key of A and B and C and maybe even D. So you can play a lot of different keys with open G tuning. It's sort of a catch-all tuning, so to speak. So that's why I tune most of mine to G. However, if a customer wants the guitar tuned differently, I'll be happy to do that as well, depending on the gauge of strings. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a hassle to determine what gauge of strings works best for a certain tuning. You just have to put the strings on and experiment and see if you can actually achieve the tuning that you're shooting for. But anyway, open G just sort of turned out to be the default cigar box guitar tuning. If you want to play an A, you would just capo it on the 2nd fret, and B would be 2 frets up, C would be 1 more fret up, D would be 2 more frets up, etc. So it's very convenient that way. It's sort of the catch-all tuning. And of course, you can tune it all sorts of different ways. I've tuned guitars to C and to D and of course to E. So just a little bit of experimentation, and you can tune it however you want. You just have to experiment with the different string gauges. And you can play slide, of course, on the baritone cigar box guitar. I'm also making the same customer a 2-string bass. And so he's got a 2-string baritone bass coming to him and a 4-string cigar box guitar. The baritone bass will be a lot of fun to make because it's got a nice growly tone for slide. So if you use, say, a metal slide and you put just a little bit of distortion on your amp, it gives you a nice big fat sound. So he's going to have fun with that. He plays solo gigs, and the baritone allows you to play in different keys. Like I said earlier, a lot of people are one-trick ponies as far as the tuning. So they might tune to G for all their songs, which gets pretty boring after a while, because you see the same person play the same key after a while. So I like to experiment with the different tunings and the different gauges. The best way to do that is to buy some heavy gauge guitar strings, and you can also buy some baritone strings and compare what tunings are available to you. But the only way to do that is just to put the strings on and tune it and experiment to see how it works. So your mileage may vary as far as that goes. So if y'all have any questions about the different types of guitars that you can make out of a cigar box, just fire away and I'll do my best to answer your questions. There's a lot of different people out there with different experiences and different guitar experiences and different musical backgrounds. But there's a cigar box guitar pretty much for anybody out there. And don't let the different tunings daunt you, because the general tuning of a cigar box guitar is going to be an open tuning. However, you don't even have to do that. You can tune it like a quote regular guitar, which means the distance between the notes is the same as a regular guitar. In other words, you could use an A string and a D string and a G string and a B string, and that would be tuned to quote normal guitar tuning for 4 strings. It's not an open tune guitar when you do that. So you're going to have to figure out all the 3-string or 4-string quote regular chords. They won't be bar chords if you tune it that way, which is a perfectly valid way to play as well, of course. A lot of people think, well, you can't tune cigar box guitars natural tune like a regular guitar. Sure you can. It's just harder to play because a lot of those chords are going to be difficult to finger. You're going to be stretching your pinky way out here, and you might have to use your second finger way down there on that fret, which is physically impossible. So that's the reason why most cigar box guitars are tuned to an open chord. And over the years of experimenting and doing my lessons on my channel, I've finally figured out that you can play pretty much any song on a 3-string cigar box guitar. You can play minor chords, you can play 7th chords, you can play a lot of 2-string chords which simulate a minor or a 7th. They may not be exactly, technically, scientifically a minor chord or a major chord or a 7th or whatever. But as long as you have enough strings to give the, quote, illusion that it's one of those chords, it works just fine. Initially, some beginners who are pretty savvy with playing the 6-string are a little bit daunted, and at first they're a little bit disappointed because a lot of those chords are minimal chords. They give they're 1 or 2 strings. But of course it depends on the chord that you're talking about. And of course it also depends on how long you've been playing guitar. If you know your fretboard pretty well, you can experiment and you can play with a little bit of work. You can play virtually any song that you want to learn on a 3 or a 4-string cigar box guitar. You just have to figure out where the notes are, figure out the chords first from the original recording, and then determine if it's a major or a minor chord or a 7th chord or whatever the chord might be. And you'd be surprised at how many songs you can play on a 3-string. Over the years, I've had a lot of requests for different lessons, and I can't tell you how many times I've dug in deep to learn a song that was requested, and within 5 minutes I'm like, boy, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if I can do this on a 3-string. But over time, I've figured out some different tricks, and some different rather strange fingerings, and figured out how to do it. You'd be surprised. Initially, you might think, this is going to take me forever. And none of these chords are working. And I have to jump way up here. But if you stick with it and you experiment and do a little bit of research as far as what notes are in different chords, then you can figure it out over time. And so we've got a lot of folks out here today. It's a beautiful day in Little Rock, Arkansas, at the Arkansas River. There's some duckies over there. I try to get a walk in every couple of days if I can. I haven't taken this walk in about a month or so. There's a pond closer by to my house where I've been walking around the pond. If I walk around 4 times, I get 1 hour's worth of walk, which is the minimum. And I try to walk as fast as I can, depending on how I feel. And I went to the doctor a few months ago to get a checkup, and he said, "What are you doing to exercise?" He said, "What in the world are you doing?" And I thought, uh-oh. I thought maybe I was doing something wrong. And I said, well, I'm walking 30 minutes every couple of days. And he said, well, that's excellent. Whatever you're doing, keep on doing it. Your numbers are fantastic for a 62-year-old. So I thought, well, cool. I knew walking was good, but I haven't been, really diligent about, how long should I walk and how often should I walk? I just do it how long I want and how often I want. As long as you do it. Also, drinking a lot of water, obviously. Everybody says that, and everybody was like, yeah. Yeah, drink the water. Okay, yeah. But it's true. It does make a huge difference because your blood flows through to all the places it needs to flow to better if you drink a lot of water. Coffee's fine, but don't drink all coffee. Don't drink all soda. I don't drink any soda whatsoever. What I do is I buy carbonated seltzer water. I guess that's redundant. And I put a small lime in it, and it tastes way better than canned soda. Of course, canned soda has tons and tons and tons of sugar. I try to stay away from the sugar. I just put a little bit of honey in my coffee every morning. That's the only sugar I have all day. So we're getting kind of off track, but here's the track. So there was a tornado here about 6 or 8 months ago, and a lot of these trees that you see standing here were damaged. There were a whole lot of trees over on this side that were at least 100 years old that went down, and they had to clear them out. So I try to do this walk, which is 30 minutes one way and 30 minutes back. And this is the turnaround spot right here. So there's my 30 minutes. Now I'm headed back the other way. This right here, I believe, is private property where they grow grass and they sell it. And a couple months ago, they had huge bales throughout this whole area. But a lot of these trees, there's one right there that went down in the tornado. And over on that side, there were, for weeks and weeks and weeks, when I would take a walk, you can't really see it very well. There's houses over there. And for weeks and weeks after the tornado, I'd be taking my walk down here, and I heard all these chainsaws chopping up all these trees that went down over there. Super expensive houses over there on the river. And it took 2 or 3 months for all those to finally get taken care of and cleaned out. Unfortunately, there were many houses that were totally destroyed in Little Rock during that tornado. A couple of weeks ago, I saw an experimental airplane fly overhead, and it was one of those, I don't even know what you call it, experimental airplane. And the guy was sitting in a chair, and he made 6 or 8 passes, and then he would land, and then he would take off again. My dad was a pilot, and he would have really enjoyed seeing something like that. He was in the Air Force in 1940s, World War II, and he was really into airplanes just like I'm into guitars. So he would have really enjoyed seeing that. It was probably about 200 or 300 feet up, and he would make these touch and go, what they call touch and go landings. But this is a great place to walk. There's all sorts of different options for this particular trail, and there's other places around town that I try to walk to. One is Emerald Park, which is not too far from my house, and that's more of a shaded area. So in the summertime, I tend to walk over there because I get sunburned way too easy. I'm light-skinned, and when I was a kid, back then, nobody really knew about skin cancer. All they knew about was, hey, stay out of the sun because you'll get burned. But they didn't really know that sometimes that turns into skin cancer. Well, I had skin cancer last summer up here right next to my eye. And the doctor took care of it about 20 minutes. And they've got it down to a science now. But be careful with the sun. You'd be amazed. If you walk every couple of days and you don't wear sunscreen, you walk every couple of days for 6-8 months, watch out. You just might end up with skin cancer, who knows? So I'm getting kind of off subject of CBGs, but that's all right. If y'all were bored, you probably already clicked off this video. But I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. There's a plane over here somewhere, which I can't see. It sounds like it's a commercial plane. The downtown Little Rock area is down that way, but you can't really see it from here. There's some really cool bluffs over there, which you can't see all that well either. Maybe in another few days I'll take a walk through there. That's Emerald Park right there. And that was a quarry, limestone quarry, maybe? I don't remember exactly. It's kind of hard to see it now. So I guess that's it for now. I'll have some new lessons coming up in the next few days. I've got some CBGs to make. In the meantime, I'm going to go to a place called Four Quarter Bar here in North Little Rock tonight and see Charlotte Taylor and Gypsy Rain. She's been a blues stalwart here for about 20 years. Played with her many times. I'll just be watching tonight though, so that'll be fun. So y'all have fun, whatever you're doing tonight. Check out some music. Support your local live music. And we'll see you next time. Be sure and subscribe. And, well, I already said that. We'll see you next time.